Well, afternoon, Chiho. How are you?
Good afternoon, Peter. I'm very good. Yourself?
I am fantastic. Thank you very much.
Perfect.
Well, Chiho, welcome to the Business Spotlight. Thank you very much for taking the time to speak with me today. Could we start by, could you tell me a little about yourself and your business story, please?
Sure. I've been doing this for about 20 years now. Started off really young as a passion of mine. I always wanted to do art. Been told that an artist cannot make money. And when I was in secondary school, I remember this really well, that a schoolmate of mine says he wants to be a graphic designer when he grows up. And that was the first time I ever heard of the term graphic designer. I didn't know what they do. And from then on, I basically followed his footsteps. We've been great friends. We went to college together. The only difference is I went to uni and he didn't. He went straight for a job. I went to uni. I knew back then that I need to stand out of competitors. So back then I knew I wanted to have the upper hand, the edge. And I went to uni in Swansea rather than Ulster, which everybody else was gone. Did my 4 years, learned everything I need to learn, came back and tried to get a job, and realized that and most agencies prefer to hire students graduated from Ulster. So by having the upper hand, I actually had the lower hand. So unlike most designers, I went through a harder route and worked in many in-house designers from the public sector to the private sector. I also worked as in-house designers in printers as well. So when it comes to, I never really regret my journey because from the journey I've taken, I've worked with everybody and I know about paper size, paper width, paper weight. I know the print process. I know everything that needs to do with print. I know how public sector work. I know the private sector worked. So for me, I think it's a learning curve. And yes, I didn't go through the normal channels, but for me, it's a learning curve. And I think it made me a better designer when I became a professional.
Very good. And what was it, Chiho, that inspired you to start your own business? What was the spark?
I had choice back then. I was 32. I remember thinking, I'm old enough to know what I'm doing, but young enough to have energy. So at that point, I was becoming a dad as well. So it's my first time becoming a dad. He was the reason why I decided to push myself and decide to start a business. I knew that I might, if I was to work for someone else, chances is I might have to do a lot of freelance work. And I really didn't want to spend too much time away from my son. So when I was 32, I started my own company. And unfortunately, so when they say, when you own your own company, you could choose your working hours. They didn't tell me that your working hours means 24/7, 7 days a week.
My goodness. So tell me, who would be your ideal customer, Chiho?
Our ideal customers. There are many. We like to work with a company who has a marketing team, mainly because they see the value of our work. Don't get me wrong, we work with clients big and small. We just find that whenever there's a marketing team within the company, they understand what we're talking about as graphic designers, and we can't work hand in hand. Whereas whenever it's a one-man band or smaller company, you tend to try to educate the owner, and most business owners don't like to be told what to do or how to do it. Whereas when you're working with a marketing team, it's not up to me to sell the idea, it's the marketing team to sell the idea to the client, not to the boss, and I would help out with the marketing team. But as Oranga sits, we do anything and everything at the moment. We do anything from packaging to magazine designs to websites to video work to animations, anything graphic related we can do. And so ideally, client-wise, it's unfortunately it's everybody, but nobody, I believe, went beyond. I have an networking thing called BNI, and our director always says, if your target audience, everybody is nobody. So unfortunately, it's also nobody then.
And tell me, Chiho, what obstacles have you had to overcome in your business journey?
There's this. It's always been a learning curve, I would say, in graphics. From making your first mistakes, to not even argue with clients, to understand when to argue with a client, when not to argue with a client. Oranga itself has gone through many changes. We lost a lot of clients during COVID. We lost employees during COVID. But the way I see it is we just carry on going, or we fold. And Oranga is my passion, it's my baby. I've had it for 9 years now. I refuse to believe that it will fail. Last October, our building was a victim of an arson attack, and it was the worst time ever, because after COVID, we're still struggling, trying to get a client back up and going. And then overnight, our studio was gone, and we lost 9 years worth of work. At that point, a lot of people asked me, would you not just give up and change your career? But the way I saw it was, if you have a passion and your work to go on. So I made decisions of selling everything I own and just put the money back in the company and just keep on going. Because in my head, it wasn't me who failed, it wasn't the company who failed, it was COVID, which I can't control, and it was the arson, which I can't control. If I was to fail because I'm not a good businessman or not a very good designer, I'd be happy enough to walk away. But I cannot just walk away because something like that happened. I mean,
and if you could go back in time, what advice would you give to your younger self about entrepreneurship?
I wouldn't, as I said, I wouldn't change my journey. I probably tell myself not to become a dad so old. But as for my business journey, no, I don't want to change anything, because every mistake I made, I learned something from it. And if you don't make a mistake, you're never going to learn. And the only way we learn is if we make mistakes. So no, I would never, ever tell myself that what to change and what to make easier for myself. I think the way we evolve and the way we move on, we should appreciate everything we've gone through.
Good advice, good advice. And tell me, who's the first person that comes to mind when you think about success?
I don't actually have one. Because everybody's journey is completely different. I actually told one of my clients, I'm not sure if you could, and you could actually broadcast this bit or record this bit, but I actually said to him, if it comes to business, see it as peeing in a urinal. Focus on yourself, aim for the goal, and don't compare yourself to the guy next to you.
So I haven't heard that one before, but it's a great analogy of a lot of people end up trying to compare themselves to somebody else, not at urinals, but in business. No. It's great. It's great advice not to do that, and we will broadcast that, by the way.
Okay.
So do you have a favorite book or podcast that has resonated with you that you would?
I don't. Unfortunately, I have difficulty reading. When I was 35, I unfortunately had a stroke, and I had a major brain damage. And unfortunately, I'm still recovering from that. And unfortunately, the brain damage has caused me issues to focus on how to read. I often can only read 1 or 2 paragraphs before I just lose interest, or not even lose interest, just lose focus. So so unfortunately, there's a bit of a point, but I don't get a chance to read anything at the moment or listen to podcasts. I just know that this is what I need to do. This is my goal. I just do it. I don't care who tells me I can't do it or who tells me to give up. If I believe in myself, I will carry on going, and I know I can do it.
And tell me, what are some areas of your business that you're particularly looking forward to for the remainder of 2023?
And it was really exciting. We are touching upon industries that we never touched before. We are working a lot with packaging and pharmaceutical companies. All these exciting new companies are looking at us now and seeing what we're doing, and it's just exciting. Now, I mean, our strapline is we think differently, and we finally realized that people nowadays do actually want to stand out and do want to be different. So I didn't even realize it's half the year already. So I cannot wait for the other half and see what happens. The only way is up.
Excellent, excellent. And Chiho, if somebody likes what they've heard and would like to reach out and get in touch with you, what would be the best way to go about that?
Most likely be email. It's chiho@orangaCreative.com. I'm sure you'll get the link somewhere. Put them there somewhere. And yeah, just give us an email. I would love to have a chat. Even if you are a graphic designer or an artist or in college and you need to follow this footstep, I'm happy enough to have a chat with you, because the journey is not easy, but it's definitely worthwhile.
Fantastic. Well, Chiho Tang of Oranga Creative, thank you very much for sharing your story with me. It's been really interesting to hear some of the challenges that you've overcome along the way, both business and personal. So thank you very much indeed. And I wish you all the success for the remainder of 2023 and beyond. Thank you very much, Chiho.
Thank you very much.